Finally got our hands on the new Ducati Multistrada V4S. It's a lot of bike now, consisting of 4 cylinders in the V configuration as opposed to the twin outgoing. It's smaller in displacement, but it's a lot bigger in power, and the engine block itself is shrunk down. So Ducati's really sort of aiming this bike at being I guess a continent crusher of sorts. It can do a lot of Ks, but it's also got some off-road chops. I mean, the Multistrada's got a bit of heritage. You know, I think it was 2003 it came into being. I owned one for about 80 or 60,000 Ks. Yeah, I put a lot of time on that bike and big trips. You know, and the one thing I always thought was the thing that let it down was the small front wheel. So, you know, the addition of a big 19-inch front wheel has really changed the game. But so has, you know, the original Multi was about 98 horsepower. This is 170. You know, it's been a huge evolution from the original Multistrada. It's not just a road-going bike anymore. It's got the Bosch 6-axis IMU system in it, which links together everything from your suspension, your engine mapping, cornering ABS, traction control, wheelie control, and your quick shifter. You've got a computer talking between all those things. There's 4 modes. You've got enduro for the dirt, urban, you've got a touring mode, and of course you've got your sport mode, which opens up the whole 170 horsepower. It's been amazing to see how the tech can work. It's been amazing to see it all come together. But it's been great to see how that tech could work for me, but it's been great to see a pro rider of Robbo's level work on it and how he can adapt to it and how the bike can work with him. And then Hamo, who's ridden everything from little bikes to huge ones everywhere and fast. So it's been quite eye-opening to see the bike put through its paces in so many varieties of terrain.
Yeah, well, we just had a bit of a scratch down the tar coming back into Hampton there, and I was riding Robbo's bike, little KTM 790, which was fun. But Robbo, you certainly notice this thing can get up and mumbo once you slip it into that sport mode. What do you think?
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's Ducati power.
Well,
it is electric, and you just get a bit of a roll on and the brakes just pull you into the corners nicely, dial that power on. It's a really nice machine, well thought out.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things, the 2 extra cylinders, you certainly notice the extra power, and once you get up in the rev range there, it really starts to work hard. That motor's strong and quite linear.
Yeah, it's still got that safe feel to it, but if you want to get into it, you can absolutely get humming.
Yeah. Well,
once you get that revs up, you know, 6-7 grand, it's a whole new machine again.
Yeah, well, they say there's no substitute for cubic inches, and Ducati are quite well known for building things with plenty of power.
Yeah, the comfort's unreal too. The position feels natural, easy to ride.
Yeah.
Things will come off the road, we're going into the dirt, and it's pretty wet and muddy up here. One of the great things about the setup is we can override the stock settings with a whole bunch of custom features.
One of the things I noticed, Matty, when you're riding this thing in a little bit of soft terrain and muddy terrain is that you can numb it down a little bit. This is one of the things you don't want. Robbo's a pile of power, as you know, and having things that give you a little bit more opportunity to adjust the motor and suspension, and gives you the flexibility of riding in places that you probably wouldn't ordinarily go. And one of the things I noticed about the Duke first up when I got on it is that it's now got a 19-inch front wheel, which is awesome. So that does make a big difference, don't you, Robbo? I mean, the earlier models had the 17s and tend to fall in the holes a lot easier, but yeah.
They wanted to turn a lot in the dirt. They'd want to tuck under where great on the road, but these bigger wheels,
yes,
you know, especially me coming from one with the 21s and 18s,
yes,
it's sort of evening the playing field out for both the dirt and the road.
Yeah.
And feels good on both. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a big step up, and then having the adjustability of a lot of settings to help the riders, you know, be a better rider, I think is really important.
Yeah, one of the best things on it is when you set your custom settings, when you turn it off, it keeps them.
Right.
That's genius.
Yeah, that is good.
Yep. That is really a good feature, because I've noticed on a lot of some of these newer bikes with the electronics, as soon as you turn the motor off, it all goes back to standard again, and that can trip you up.
It takes 5 minutes to get going. The rest of the guys are gone, haven't they?
Yeah, but you can turn the ABS on and off on the fly, I take it,
yes?
Yeah. Okay, great. We popped into a bit of the Hampton Forest here. All the trails are reasonably firm today, bit of greasy stuff. Again, all the technical stuff on this bike is kind of helpful, but in this situation, just in enduro mode with the ABS turned off, bike feels quite stable. Again, I think it's really pertinent to note that, you know, having that 19-inch wheel has made a big difference to this motorbike, or this new generation Ducati. It feels quite stable. I think, Robbie, you'd agree, any of these big bikes, the limitation's kind of the mud. They're a big motorcycle. You've got sort of 230 odd kilos.
Closer to 250.
Closer to 250. Okay. Well, you know, steering one of those through any slippery stuff's tricky, but it feels pretty good. What do you think, Robbie?
Yeah, no, we've hit a fair bit of greasy stuff coming through, didn't we? And I think as you start to push the bike, it's probably, you can start to feel a weight.
Yes.
It starts to get a bit slippery, and a couple of square edge bumps, the shot goes through the stroke a bit quicker than it probably should. But all in all, it's for a big bike, it's right up there with the rest of them.
Yeah, actually that was pretty interesting to note. The probably if any shortcoming is the rear end felt quite soft, even in the hard
in the
mode.
hardest setting. Yeah, just, you know, some of the square edges you've really sort of got to,
Yeah,
you know, be a little bit wary. But general riding, it's fine. It's quite tractable. A bit of a loose hill over the back there.
yeah,
You know, standing start, you get it going.
yeah.
It
What do you-
handles quite well.
What do you think, Matty?
I think with my weight, the shock isn't too bad, but anyone over 65 kilos is going to feel it.
67.
Yeah.
You're going to blow straight through it, yeah.
Yeah. I think if you started carrying, you know, some luggage on it, like if you're going on a proper true adventure ride, invariably we all go with some pack. And, you know, Robbie, you're a fair sort of size fellow. That would be certainly something that we'd have to give a bit of consideration to. But as far as the front end, I thought it steered pretty good and certainly was quite capable through the rougher stuff.
Yeah, really impressed with the ABS. It's not intrusive or abrupt or aggressive. It seems to be so refined and smooth. You might feel a slight pulse to your finger, but the front wheel doesn't judder, the front of the bike doesn't dive.
No.
Yeah, it's got a lot of feel, hasn't it? Like it's a bit like the engine. The more you use it, the more it works.
Yeah, I mean
You
that's
dial that power and it gets faster and faster. The brake gets better and better.
yeah, that's the idea. I think the computer is working with the brakes, your shifter, your revs, cornering, ABS, wheelie control, traction control.
Yeah,
And
no,
it works.
all those features are certainly something you'd look for riding any motorbike, and it's just getting better and better. And you know, the old days of not using that sort of stuff and feeling the road was kind of the norm, but you know, once you've used it, I don't think you'd ever go back without it.
I think that's right. Like you jump on this and you're not sort of waiting to feel the bike, are you, to see what it's going to do. You feel comfortable straight away.
Yeah, that's right.
You just ride and you're not sort of thinking you're going to slide or...
No, the safety features are certainly first class.
All right, well, I guess we've put over 1,000 Ks on it, and we've put it through its paces on tarmac, on highways, in traffic, in the city, and then we've put it down fire roads and single track, and probably put this beautiful red Italian bike down too many single tracks through too many trees, and maybe jumped it a bit too much. All in all, I think the V4S Ducati Multistrada is an incredibly competent and capable bike. And in the right hands, it'll become a complete weapon capable of, I'd be happy to ride to Perth tomorrow on it.